On everyone. So everyone's waiting around for the Lakers to pull off a trade for Cam Reddish. Now, New York has made Cam Reddish available. He hasn't played since December 3rd, so he's on his way out, right? He's a restricted free agent. He's a sizable wing, 6'8", good size, good length, 3-and-D guy, although he's still very young, very raw, hasn't really had much of an opportunity. He's a guy that is only 23 years old, so he's still very young and has a lot of room to grow and a lot of potential in the right situation, right? That's what it's going to boil down to. You know, him finding a team that makes sense, that is a good fit for him, that's going to give him a fair opportunity to kind of blossom into this player. Now, Cam Reddish isn't without his own faults, right? Like, he's a guy that even dating back to Duke, there was a lot of questions about his commitment to the game of basketball, his work ethic, things along those lines. So that's something that's going to need to be corrected, but the Lakers could really use a sizable wing. Again, 6'8", the Lakers could use a guy like him that could play both forward spots, a guy that could come in, give us, even 15 minutes a game, 10 minutes a game. If he could give us some solid production, I think that he would be huge for the Lakers. Now, he is, based on reports, available for 2 second-round picks. Now, we don't know how much of that is actually accurate. The Knicks originally wanted 1 first. Now they're selling for 2 seconds. And the big reason why it hasn't gotten done yet, very likely, is that there's a bidding war. Right, there are several teams, the Milwaukee Bucks, Dallas Mavericks were teams that were mentioned in the same breath, that there are several teams right now trying to go and acquire Cam Reddish because, again, he's a 6'8", sizable wing. There are a lot of teams that would love to have a guy like him. 23 years old, you could develop him, you could build him into, a piece for not just now, but the future going forward. He's very likely going to be very young, so if you do and are able to turn him into something productive, you're likely going to have him on the cheap for the next several seasons. So that's huge. And he would be a welcome addition to the Los Angeles Lakers. He's a guy that's not going to I don't personally think he's going to completely move the needle. I just want to, calm expectations because I know a lot of people, I see comments that are like, this could be the piece, this could be that. And look, maybe he comes in and maybe he's great, right? But he's a 30% three-point shooter. He's a guy that is good defensively, but he hasn't been like great or elite. Although, is that part of just the situations he's been in, right? His best season was the rookie season in Atlanta, where he's actually very solid. And then they immediately went and got a bunch of veteran players that played his spot. And so he was kind of the odd man out. He gets shipped out. New York doesn't want him. Tibbs doesn't want him. New York still trades for him. And then he comes here to New York, and it's like, oh, we don't want him. We don't like him. They trade him to the Lakers until the final hour, and then that's when the Knicks decide, you know what, we want another first-round pick, and just completely botch the deal. So Cam Reddish hasn't had a real opportunity, especially with the Knicks. He's had a couple moments here and there. Tibbs gave him a little bit of a stretch where he got to start a little bit, but it just never felt like, oh, we want him here. Like this, like fit, comfortability, feeling that want, especially at age 23, is all huge, significant, important things when you're talking about young players that you're trying to develop. Team like the Lakers, you got LeBron James, you got Russell Westbrook, you got Darvin Ham, Anthony Davis. You got these guys that are veteran leaders, even Patrick Beverley, if you don't trade him. You have all these guys that could be vocal and mentors for this guy, for this young man, and kind of build him up and put him in a position to be successful. So it makes a lot of sense that the Lakers really want Cam Reddish because they believe he could be a piece not only now, but the future going forward. Again, issue is that there's a bidding war and other teams are interested. So if you're the Knicks, you're not in a rush. You still have 3 weeks before you need to get a deal done. And on top of it being 3 weeks before you need to get a deal done, are one of these other teams willing to, is Milwaukee willing to give up a first? Right? Like if the asking price is 2 seconds and you have several teams that are willing to give 2 seconds, well, which seconds are most valuable to you? And is there that team that goes, whatever, we'll just give them a first? Does Milwaukee go, well, we're probably going to have like the 27th pick in the draft. Our best bet is to get a guy like Cam Reddish. Let's just go get Cam Reddish. That's a real thought. So it makes sense that we got recent reports that the Lakers are heavily pushing for Cam Reddish, that the Lakers are doing what they can to really kind of try to expedite the process of acquiring Cam Reddish. So this report comes per the heavy, Sean Devaney. He says the Lakers have been pushing to acquire little used Knicks wing Cam Reddish, and word is Nunn would be a chip in the deal. This is a third team potentially involved, with a third team potentially involved. I don't know where the third team would come in, if I'm being honest. I don't know why you'd even need a third team unless, there's the Knicks want to try to move Kendrick Nunn somewhere, right? So maybe the Knicks are trying to find, okay, well, we could get, 2 seconds from the Lakers and Kendrick Nunn. We don't really have a use for Kendrick Nunn, but maybe we could flip Kendrick Nunn into a piece that we do want, or another asset. Maybe you could flip Kendrick Nunn into another second-round pick or something. That could be something that could make sense and could be why the Knicks would be looking for a third deal, a third team. But Lakers, it's good to see that they're being aggressive based on this report. It sounds like they are really trying to push to go get Cam Reddish, which we do, which would be great. We really need a guy like Cam. We really need a sizable wing that can play both forward spots and really kind of just provide a multitude of things just on the defensive end. He's a guy that's going to be able to grow with this team and be a piece. I mean, look at it, like you could have Max Christie, Austin Reeves, and then Cam Reddish for the next several years, right? Like that'd be huge. Austin Reeves has been fantastic so far for the Lakers and is only going to get better. It's only his second year. You have Max Christie, who already is arguably our best on-ball defender and has been really solid for the Lakers, so much so he's carved out a rotation spot. That has been huge. So Max Christie, I think, is very likely going to be the starting shooting guard for this Lakers team for the long haul. I wouldn't be surprised if next season he's kind of thrusted into a more significant role, and so could Cam Reddish. Cam Reddish could come to the Lakers and immediately carve out a role. Darvin Ham has shown, look, if you play and you show, I'll let you burn the minutes, right? And so that's huge for a kid like Cam Reddish. It gives him some incentive to want to be good, to want to put the work in, to want to really, make the pushes to improve his game, to try to really carve out a role. The thing is like teams like Milwaukee, he's never going to play more than 10, 15 minutes a game, unless somebody's hurt or something. But, very likely he's always going to be a 10 to 15 minute a game guy, right? If he goes to Dallas, that's probably the same thing too. Any of these these teams that are already kind of established that are looking for Cam Reddish as a bench option, right? The most he's ever going to play is just sparing minutes here and there, right? But a team like the Lakers, who they don't really have anybody else, they don't have another Cam Reddish type player. They just don't. LeBron James is it, right? So it would be nice to get a guy, if you could get Cam Reddish, he would have a real opportunity to start, or even if he doesn't start, to really get some significant minutes, even off the bench. And I'm talking about 6-man minutes, something like that, right? Because we just need his size. If he can come in and show, look, I can be the defensive stopper you guys need. I can knock down shots here and there. I mean, worst case scenario, hopefully, he's Stanley Johnson of last year. Stanley Johnson was terrible shooting the 3-ball, but he was so good defensively that he became a fan favorite. And then whatever 3-point shooting and production you got on the offensive end was just an added bonus. That could be Cam Reddish this year. But the difference is Cam Reddish is only 23 years old. So he's only going to get better. He's only going to improve. You're only going to be able to get him to improve. And you have him for the next several seasons that you could look at it like this. You could have Cam Reddish. You could sign Cam Reddish tomorrow or trade for him tomorrow. Sign him. You could have him for the next 10 years and he'd still only be 33 years old. That is great, right? That's what the Lakers need. The Lakers need guys like Max Christie, Cam Reddish, these young pieces that they can grow and develop and be real pieces beyond, LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Also, the Lakers would have their draft pick this year. Now you start building this nice young core, this solid just youth, and that could be huge, right? Especially during an 82-game season, next season, this season, all that stuff. So I really like the idea of the Lakers going out and trading for Cam Reddish. I'm glad to hear that they're being aggressive, that they're really pushing for this trade. I'm curious to see why the third team and if a third team gets involved, just because, I guess it does make sense because they don't need Kendrick Nunn, right? The Knicks don't really need, nor would they probably want Kendrick Nunn. So if they could flip him into, another second round pick, like, okay, fine, do that. So maybe they're trying to look for another team to take on Kendrick Nunn. That could be a real possibility. But however, whatever the end result is, I don't care. Just go get Cam Reddish, right? And I hope that he's not it. I hope that they don't just go get Cam Reddish and then that's it. It's like, all right, well, we got our trade. We made our trade, everybody. Like, I hope that he's a step in the right direction, but he's not the only step, right? Like, I don't know how much he's going to help us this year. Could he be amazing for us? Possibly, right? I mean, he's still an NBA player. He's still got good size at 6'8". He could still do a lot and provide a lot for this Laker team. I'm not saying that that couldn't happen, but I just want to cool and calm expectations for people, because I see a lot of comments where people are like, oh, Cam Reddish is game changer. I really think he's the missing piece, all of that stuff. And I think he could be very solid. I think he's a guy that could come in, play solid defense, play both forward spots, maybe give us like 10 to 12 a game. If he could give us more, great. Is it possible that he comes in and maybe he's just off to the races? Of course. Again, still an NBA player, but realistically, he's a more long-term piece than a win now piece. I think he's great if we get and make other moves. So I hope we trade for Cam Reddish, and I hope we do it soon. But I hope we don't just stop there. I hope it's not like we got Cam Reddish, that's it, we're done, let's go. Like, I hope that there's more to it than that. But I'm glad that the Lakers are pushing for Cam Reddish. So anyway, again, as always, this is a discussion. I pass the question on to you. I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? Is this exciting? Is this not? Hopefully this deal gets done soon. We'll see. But however you feel about it, I'd love to hear it. Let me know down in the comment section below.